Hey, it's your girl KV back with another review for Married to Medicine, Season 10, Episode 15, which is the reunion part 1. Y'all, just a side note, I am so annoyed that Potomac got all these more episodes than Married to Medicine when it just don't be given like that. It really don't be given like that. So I just be like, this what we doing? Okay. Anywho, let's get on to the episode because it's late for me to be doing reviews, but I'm gonna try to get both of them done tonight. Yeah. So the reunion starts off. They show that there are these pictures up around the dressing rooms of Heavenly when she was much bigger. And it's got on there, you is kind, you is important, you is special. Y'all know the stuff from the hip. It's got those around there, and it's just like just little, regular printer papers of it up around the daggone dressing rooms. Andy asked Letitia, "Was that you? Did you put that up? I seen some bold stuff around the dressing rooms. Was that you?" She was like, "Yes." She trolls me. She's always trolling me, so I figure I would troll her back. It was very lame to me. It just fell flat to me. It I don't know. It's just Letitia gotta get a little more witty with her words so that she can, you know, go the dozens with Heavenly and really go back and forth with her versus getting upset, screaming, yelling, cussing, calling people out their name. It's just so much more to a reality TV show argument than what Letitia gives. And I get it. This is her first season. We can't expect her to come equipped, but as Niecy Dixon say, I want her to sign up for her housewives boot camp over this break. Heavenly already said everybody got their contracts, everybody's coming back, and I'm wondering if she meant everybody, or what? Because like, does this include Letitia and Alicia as everybody, or just everybody as far as the main girls? I guess we'll see eventually, but I want Letitia to come back. I feel like she's definitely good enough to get a second, maybe third season so we can really flesh out her personality, so we can really flesh out so we can really flesh out if she's going to get along with these girls, and especially what her and Dr. G's marriage is going to give. Is she going to, have a baby while she's on the show? I think she deserves a good 3 seasons so we can really see this flesh out. And I would like to see the dynamic that'll happen between Dr. G and Letitia with Quad, because essentially this Quad show, I don't care what nobody say, the finale would have been poo poo garbage if it wasn't for Quad and Heavenly doing the things that they did. No matter how annoying, no matter how ill placed they may be, they did what needed to happen for people to talk about the finale. If it wasn't for Quad and Heavenly, nobody would be talking about that finale. That finale would have came and went. So essentially, it's Quad's show. Quad don't need to go nowhere. So they be annoying me like, why is she always here? Why is she always coming unannounced? Why is she always coming uninvited? Baby, this her show when it comes to y'all. Like, what are we talking about here? The delusion is crazy to me. But yes, I say all that to say I want Letitia to get more seasons. I want to see their marriage and their story get fleshed out a little bit more. And I want her to go to Housewives boot camp. She don't necessarily need to go get her body done. I feel like all the girls just rushing to get their body done. I ain't really of that belief, but she definitely needs to get wittier. She needs to clean up the look a little bit, clean it up a little bit. Just find, garments that fit her and flatter her body type, and get the hair a little more together, get the reads a little more together, because her person posting them pictures around was just, it was lame to me. And I get that. And this is what I say, this is what I mean when I say she's a fan of the show, but she tries to act like she didn't watch the show. You know that Heavenly defaced Mariah's picture on past reunions when Mariah had that big blow up picture that was the size of the door, and she put that mustache and that devil horns on there. You know that Heavenly did that, and that's why you brought these pictures of Heavenly, probably like 100 pounds heavier, and put them up out the dressing room. You're a fan. Admit that you're a fan, because you acting like, well, I don't really do reality TV like that. I just knew from, my Facebook groups that Dr. G wanted a baby. Okay, girl. It sounds crazy. But anywho, when it comes to Heavenly, Heavenly owns her body struggles at all times. Like, she never, you know, she's the type, like, I'ma release my own tea, so can't nobody spray me with my tea. Heavenly owns her body struggle. Somebody said that she's mentioned that she had just had her child, had one of her kids after that picture, and we all know, me especially, them children, that weight gain from a baby, it don't come off so easy. It does not come off so easy. Not in your 30s, at least. Not in your 30s, it don't. So Heavenly talked about how she done had lap band surgery, tummy tucks. She didn't really get a BBL. She just got something to round her booty out so it didn't look, old lady booty. Heavenly talks about this. She got her body done. We see her Instagrams where she be in the gym to maintain it. Not that big a deal. Next, Heavenly asks, are we getting sweet tea today, or are we getting Long Island iced tea? She said, Sweet Tea said to her, well, we getting malt liquor from you. That made me giggle a little bit, because I'm like, that's how we do it. We have a rebuttal that is, equal to what somebody gave to us. We don't take it from 0 to 1,000 off of something so simple. And that's what I need Letitia to give us. So good job, Letitia. So they play this game. Andy has them play this game where he's like, okay, guilty or not guilty, and he has all these questions about what somebody did. The main one that stuck out for me, he asked, was Phaedra guilty for dressing Heavenly in that crazy little tiny dress with the fur on the bottom for Damon's mixer? And I can't remember exactly what Heavenly said. Heavenly said something like, I was trying to be like Simone, or I was like Simone. And Simone says, but I'm 120 pounds. And I just feel like that was so, like, ill placed, because Heavenly wasn't talking about body size. I think she said something like, I meant that I was just going with what the stylist gave me. Like, I didn't mean it. And Simone was just like, oh, oh. I was just like, dang, girl, why was you so ready to, like, come at Heavenly in that manner? Now, not that I'm caping for Heavenly, because Heavenly be flying off the handle and doing the most as well. But it just felt so odd and ill placed. Like, but I'm 120 pounds. Especially because, like, girl, didn't you get a tummy tuck too? So for you to be coming at somebody's weight when you got a tummy tuck your daggone self, you had a little lipo to get your stomach fat gone. You may not have weighed as much as Heavenly, but y'all in the same bowl. Y'all got on the table to fix y'all insecurities. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like for you to come at somebody else about something, it just annoyed me. It annoyed me. Simone really disappointed me this reunion, y'all. And it's hard for me to say that because I love Simone, because that's my Spelman sister. Like, I ride for Simone most times strictly off the fact that that's my Spelman sister. I can call her out when she wrong, just like I can call anybody out when they're wrong. Hell, I can call my mama out when she wrong. So of course I call out when she wrong, but I don't be wanting to, because that's my Spelman sister. But she completely disappointed me on this reunion. I was very, very displeased. So next we see they talk about Phaedra coming on the show through Quad. She came through Quad, but she ended up dropping Quad like a hot potato after she saw the other ladies wasn't really messing with her. Um, Phaedra said, "Well, why would I attach myself to the Titanic?" And Toya and Simone are over there snickering in the back. I was like, all three of y'all is petty because Phaedra, I get that you don't want to be solely recognized as Quad's friend when it comes to something like that because you don't want yourself excommunicated from this group that you just got into. But to completely drop her like that, like you didn't even get on a flight, you changed your flight from the one that you had that was with her. That was just so unnecessary. Like y'all still could have came on the flight. The girl was invited on the trip, even though they sent her home early. The girl was invited on the trip, so you being like, well, I don't want to come with her because I don't want to get sent home too. You are your own person. They wouldn't have sent you home too, so there was no reason for her to do that. It just shows you that Phaedra ain't got no loyalty. But we already knew that. We already knew that. If you was Real Housewives of Atlanta fan when she was on there, we knew that she ain't had no loyalty from how she did Portia, from how she did her husband, from how she did Candy. She just has always been this person, which cracks me up. Side note, because she's on Traders. Well, she was on Traders. She got sent home. Sorry about the spoiler if you haven't seen it. And she said to Sheree, have I ever lied to you? And Sheree was like, well, I know Phaedra to be a trustworthy person. She's never lied. And I'm like, she's never lied. Phaedra came on the scene lying about her due date because she didn't want people to know she was pregnant before she got married. So we know that Phaedra is a liar. We know that Phaedra ain't got no loyalty. So they still going back and forth, yada yada yada. And then they end up talking about if Phaedra dated Dr. G. She said some dumb mess that annoyed the mess out of me because she was like, with black people that think that when somebody's dating, that means sex, and it just was never that. It was never that. I don't. We probably went out a few times, but it was nothing intimate. Like wasn't like we was holding hands. Well, maybe we held hands a little bit, but it ain't like we kissed. Letitia said, well, he told me y'all did kiss. Well, it's not like we had an intimate relationship. And I'm like, girl, what is it? Every time somebody brings something up, your story changes. It just don't make no sense. And they got on her about the, $4,000. You said you wanted $4,000 for him and he ain't have it, yada, yada, yada. Talking about my bags cost more than that. Quad said, well, you could have dated him for a few months, got that $12,000 and an extra $2,000. Well, got that $12,000 so you can get your $10,000 bag and your $2,000 shoes or whatever. Just like being silly, being quiet with these long explanations for stuff. But yeah, y'all, we know that Phaedra just be saying any and everything. So next, Phaedra brings up the fact that Quad was dragging her to Heavenly. She said, I ain't drag you. Like, Heavenly, this is Heavenly, because she said that both of them was dragging her, basically. Heavenly said, well, I ain't drag you. I just said, this is in reference to Phaedra saying this some NS, some ninja stuff, and she don't want to deal with it. So Heavenly's reply was like, well, if she don't want to deal with it, she can go on the F on. Like, ain't nobody finna be kissing her butt. Like, so yeah. That's not dragging her. That's just being real. If you want to badmouth what we got going on over here, you can go back home. Okay? You can go back home. You don't have to be on this show, dear. You don't have to be on this show. So next we talk about Toya and Quad. They going on about Napa. And Quad says that she was there to support Toya and all that stuff. And she thought that they was cool. And then Toya and Letitia ended up being like, but you said you only came for your check. You said you only came for your check. And then Quad is like, well, because you don't like me, Toya. You didn't even really want me there. Toya's just like, well, you could have called me and got clarification and just all types of yelling back and forth. Where I'm just like, Toya, you didn't want the girl there. You just had her there because production said so, and you sent her home. Y'all wasted good money on bringing her to Napa and sending her home early when that little money could have got y'all a better trip than Hilton had. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It was so unnecessary to bring her out there just to disinvite her. Y'all should have had a dinner, saying this was gonna happen, and fleshed it out, see how she was gonna act, and then be like, "Well, you don't even need to go if that's how you feel." That's how that should have been done. And I see a lot of people where everybody's kind of team quiet now. Well, I ain't gonna say everybody. A lot more people are team quiet, and there's a group of people that's like, oh, how's everybody team quiet now? I just feel like two things can be true. In the past, especially when Quad got on Sister Circle, Quad Quad gave them her ass to kiss. She felt like she didn't need them. She felt like they weren't, oh, I'm gonna hang with my real friends, my sister circle. I'm gonna go hang with my real friends. But the way they treated her at this reunion, and they were expecting her to grovel after this Napa situation, and they were expecting her to be there for them when they weren't really there for her, or they weren't really friends at the time. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, don't set expectations for me that you're not holding yourself to. And I ain't gonna lie, I was a little bit triggered by that because I am going through a similar situation in my life where I feel like a friend ain't been there for me in dang near a full calendar year, but expected me to be there for them. And I'm like, can we rewind a little bit? Not that I'm mad and I'm gonna, ignore you, but like, let's rewind and start from the beginning, not the middle. So I ain't gonna lie, I was a little bit triggered by that. But two things can be true. They have reason to be mad or annoyed with Quad, but the way they treated her at this reunion was just very much ridiculous to me. So, sidebar, they start talking to Toya about her high expectations, and Simone says, yes, my friend needs to be kinder to Eugene. Okay, she told this story. Andy ends up asking her, did you always come from means? Basically, he was like, did you grow up privileged or was you in the hood? That's what he really wanted to ask her. She goes on about this story on how, her dad lives in the hood. Well, she said he lives in a neighborhood that she wouldn't want to park her car at night. But her mom had moved her to the suburbs in middle school. She had some pro wings. I don't know what pro wings are. Are those bobos? Is that what people used to call bobos back then? She had on some bobos, got picked on at school, and ever since then, she wanted to meet people's expectations of what she should do. Girl, you are like 50 years old now, and you still hanging on to meeting other people's expectations is so wild to me because it's like you should, yeah, you should have worked those insecurities out by now. She talks about how Eugene know who he married. He know who he married. She said when we would hang out, he had 1800. I told him I don't drink that. I drink Patron. We go out to eat. He tried to order a glass of wine. I don't do that. I order by the bottle. So Toya has these high expectations. Eugene knows that, and he's fine with it. So yeah, that's them. She gonna always complain about something. Yeah. They talk about Toya and the wine sponsorship, and Andy asks her, so did you pay for the wine or was it free? And she was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, which one? She was like, yeah, that's the question. He's like, yeah, so what's the answer? Y'all, I don't know why hold on. I don't know why this tickled me so. It tickled me so because it's like she was trying to skate around it. Hold on, my daddy called. Let me see. She was trying to skate around it and he was not letting her. So I was cracking up about that. Then she finally answers and says she is only allotted 10 cases of wine for promotion. So her bringing this wine to the Met Gala It took away from her supply on if she were to have a party and she was promoting her wine. Andy was like, well, wouldn't this be a big opportunity to have it, one, on the show, and two, at the Met Gala? Like, wouldn't that be exactly what it's for? He's like, okay, so it was free. And she's still trying to talk in circles about it. But Andy was just like, girl, you ain't making no sense. Okay, he just checking on the baby. Grandparents and their grandkids, boy, I tell you. So he was annoyed by the answer because he feels like everybody else feels. You chose to donate free wine that was free to you, to promote yourself, and it was not, the same as giving $1,000 to help pay for this event. Especially since they said Phaedra already had the liquor and champagne taken care of. Next, they talk about Jackie in the resurfaced clip. Y'all, she immediately started the white woman tears, and I was so annoyed. She played the victim and how all this happened to her, and she still didn't really take all that much accountability, if you ask me. Like, did she give a proper apology? I don't think so. She just plays the victim. Why would somebody do this to me? Why would somebody bring up your own words? Like, that was crazy to me. So he asks who all supported her. She says everybody supported her, basically. Simone was there for her. Heavenly was there for her. All the girls was there for her in that time. Everyone but Quad, basically. And Quad was like, well, we weren't friends. We weren't close for me to be there for you. And then she talks about how, when I tried to reach out to you prior, when I sent you guys that Christmas text, I think she said it was Heavenly, Simone, and Jackie in a group text. Only Heavenly replied. So she's like, girl, I ain't rushing to go be there for you if you can't even reply to a text from me. Again, triggered. So then she talks about how, well, I Heavenly said that it wasn't a good time. Simone starts yelling. Y'all, somebody on Carlos King Live cracked me up because they said they called Simone Surround Sound Simone. Y'all, I was so tickled by that because, yes, that lady be yelling and I just be like, girl, calm down. So Simone starts yelling, well, why would you need to go through Heavenly? You need permission from Heavenly. She said, no, we all know that they're the closest, so I figured it would be best to just kind of ask Heavenly to fill it out. Simone kind of piped down like, oh, you feel like they're the closest or whatever. She was kind of feeling the way about that response. So Heavenly said that, there was talk amongst the group that Quad is the one who resurfaced the clip. I feel like that was a scheme set up by Simone and Toya to come to us with the bull. It was just so low of them to say because I can't recall Quad ever really doing something like that unless provoked. Like, the only thing I can think of that would be similar is when she got a background check on Lisa Nicole because Lisa Nicole had a background check on her. It wasn't unprovoked. It wasn't because I don't like you. It was more of a tit for tat. So to say that Quad is the one that resurfaced them clips, it was real annoying. I truly don't think that she cares that much to go digging or have somebody digging like that. Plus, we all know that was Buffy. We all know that was Buffy and her team that did that. Because the way Buffy hopped back on the interwaves to have her 15 minutes of fame to drag Jackie some more, it was like, yeah, girl, that was Buffy. So Quad was very hurt by that. And she starts crying. They go for like a little break and she starts crying and she tells Jackie, I can't believe you would think that. You really thought that I would do something like that? Jackie says some dumb stuff like, I would rather lose a friend than lose myself. Jackie, how are you losing yourself? You said those words. It wasn't alleged. You were on video, on the internet, knowing that this was going to go out to going out to the world. You knew that this was being published. Like, How is what do you mean losing yourself? Jackie is so annoying, y'all. So Simone starts yelling about how Quad needs to reach out and be a friend. She states that she has invited Quad to her house many a times and Quad has never invited her over. Then she says, um, name a time when the cameras and mics wasn't up that you've been there for me. And I feel like that was a very loaded question because the cameras and mics are almost always up. If you're going through something when the cameras are up, I'm gonna be there for you and the cameras are up. And it seems like when Simone is going through things, the cameras are up. So has she had anything to happen that wasn't filmed? So how would you expect Quad to really be there for that? She ends up bringing up, I was there for you. I'll be there for you even when we weren't friends, even when we weren't talking. And she brings up the tragic, tragic event of Quad's niece drowning and dying in her pool. And this upset me so because Quad was like, Simone, don't do that. Simone, Simone. And Simone said it anyway. I just feel like that was not being a friend. That was not being kind. She was just trying to prove her point of I was there for you when the cameras was off. Yeah, when your niece died, did not was not there for you. I don't care how much Andy was poking and prodding. You could have simply said, I was there for her when a tragic event happened with her family at her home. I was there for a tragic event that happened over the summer when the cameras weren't rolling. Like for her to go into it like that, it was just very tasteless. It was very tasteless. I was disappointed. I was very disappointed in that moment. That's what I'm saying. Like, dang, really, Spelman sis? This how we doing? So not sisterly. So not sisterly. And they also bring up how Simone has this ridiculous loyalty to Toya and how she never wanted to disagree with her because I truly don't understand why. Is it because Toya takes it so personally? Honestly, it feels like, well, if Heavenly gonna take my friend Jackie, I gotta give my blind loyalty to somebody else, and she just picked Toya for that. That's what it's starting to feel like, cause I truly don't understand. And she said it herself. She don't like disagreeing with Toya, up until it came to that one incident. So yeah, that was interesting. So next we see, I think that's how it ended, right? They also bring us. Yeah, that's how it ended. That's how the reunion ends, y'all. I say it was a good first part. I'm really interested to see what happens in part 2 and 3 because I feel like they hit everything in part 1. I get they're gonna have Apollo on there, so they probably gonna do half a daggone episode with the guys, and I do okay. I know now they do sit down with the guys separately, so that might be another half of the episode. So we gonna see what they give us with those. So next I'm gonna talk about, like I always do, the lives. So Helen ended up posting that she can't do her YouTube's reviews no more because they told on her, and Daddy said I can't do my YouTube reviews no more. When I initially saw people talking about it, I thought that production told her she can't do her YouTube reviews no more. But apparently, Dr. Damon is the one that told her she can't do her YouTube reviews. So that makes sense because I was like, production ain't saying nothing all this time. She done went the whole season daggone reviewing this show with Carlos King, and she said like production will text her or she'll text production like, hey, can I say this? Hey, do y'all got a problem with my lives? And they be like, nah, girl, just don't go ahead of the episodes or whatever. So finding out that it was Dr. Damon who told her she can't do her lives no more on YouTube. You can't do your YouTube reviews. So this girl said, well, I'm gonna do it on Patreon. And her Patreon only $5. So I'm like, a good bit of people is gonna hop over on her Patreon to see the reviews for, this next month. We all gotta pay $5 for this next month to see the rest of these episodes. So that cracked me up. So I was still watching Carlos King's live, y'all, and Heavenly ended up popping up on the daggone live. She said her Patreon wasn't working. Whoever was supposed to set up her Patreon, they did it wrong. So she was waiting on T.S. Madison to get to her house to help her with the Patreon. And she said, well, I'm not on my YouTube, so, it should be fine. It's like how she's skating around. I was like, Emily is like a child. She is like a child skating around what your mama and daddy told you. You finding the little loopholes in there. Well, I'm not doing my YouTube review. I'm a guest on Carlos King's YouTube. And that's when she confirmed that we all know it was Buffy that did that resurface clip of Jackie. Duh. Duh. And she also said, that's when she said that everybody got their contracts and everybody's coming back. Like I said, I truly want to know if that includes Dr. Alicia. I feel like Letitia should definitely come back. I feel like there's no reason they wouldn't do Letitia. But I'm really wondering if that means Dr. Alicia as well, because there's just too many people on the cast. That's just too many people on the cast. They already had that issue, and that's why they had no money for daggone a better trip than Hilton had for these 10 years. So I'm wondering, are they sending Phaedra back to Real Housewives of Atlanta? And that's why they're going to have, the funds to really have everybody full time? Because I don't want Phaedra on here. I don't, y'all. I really don't. I feel like Married to Medicine is losing recipes. And by that, I mean, everybody on the show should be married. I don't want to see single women on Married to Medicine. I can deal with Quiet because she was, founding cast. She was one of the first girls here. She was Married to Medicine, so she still has a link in there, and she was original to this group. So she gets a mini pass, she gets a mini pass. But bringing Phaedra in, who's completely single, never been married to a doctor, ain't in the medical field at all, like at least Quad was in medical sales, so we can kind of bring that up. And like I think who was it? Funky Dineva said they need to branch out from just doctors and doctors' wives. And in his words, he said they need to bring a good old CNA fish and then, people that work in the hospital, in the medical world, that may necessarily, do the other position, medical billing, hospital manager, something. I just feel like the cast we could do something different with the cast. Not that I want anybody to really go, but when they get to rearranging the people is leaving off and all of that, things can be done. So next for like, where I'm at, 32 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna do this little, hopefully it ain't no more than 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes. Carlos King did his interview with Cecil and Dr. Eugene, y'all, and I was wondering when this was gonna come out, but I see that he did it in person. When I saw it, I immediately was like, watch, like, let's get it. And Eugene claims that, we were just joking. We didn't really mean for you to interview us. But y'all there anyway. Because I think Eugene had tweeted and was like, when you going to interview me? We need to interview you. We need to do an interview together, da-da-da. And Cecil hopped in like, yeah, me too. Yeah, we was just joking. We ain't really mean it. But here y'all go doing this interview. So, I'm going to just hit some of the points that stuck out to me. They talk about how they met their wives. Eugene, we had never really heard Eugene's story on how he met Toya. He said that he had this friend in the hospital that was a nurse that was kind of flirting with him, but she had a boyfriend, so they was just cool. They wasn't really dating, they was just cool. They ended up going out for drinks as friends one night, and across the restaurant was a speed dating event. So she was like, well, I want you to meet some of my friends. He said he met one girl. He was kind of a jerk accidentally. He didn't know she had all these baby daddies, and he jokingly asked, how many baby daddies you got? And that offended her, of course. But when he met Toya, he was just like, oh, this the one. I like your friend Toya. And the nurse said, you ain't got enough money for her. He ends up talking to Toya anyway, and Toya was like, I don't know why she would say that. I'm not like that, yada, yada, yada. But no, I can't really hang out. I got to rewrite my paper. He said, I'll rewrite it for you. He rewrote the girl paper, and I guess the rest is history. She just fell from there. And he is completely and totally smitten by Toya. And it's cute. It's cute, you know. Even though I feel like Toya, you know, be so quick to degrade him, he don't care. That is his woman, and he is gonna stick beside her. Okay, it's cute. Cecil, we kind of already heard this story. She was talking to the roommate at first, and once she really saw Cecil, she was like, "I want him." And the in depth story was she was hanging out with the roommate, but it wasn't really all of that. And she ends up calling Cecil one day to say, um, I need help with my water bed. Can you come fix my water bed? And he goes and fix her water bed. And she's like, well, thank you. I'm gonna cook you dinner. Cooks him dinner. The rest is history. It was hilarious to hear them talk about and gush over their wives like that. I hope that my husband does the same when we 20 years into our marriage. So they talk about, you know, how this reality TV been. Of course, they talk about how um, Cecil and Simone's marriage was saved because of this show. Because they were both being stubborn, they both weren't talking, but when they got to that reunion and told their friends that they were getting divorced, their friends said, not on my watch, in their Ayala voice, and they band together to remind them that y'all love each other, and this is something y'all can get over. There's no infidelity. There's no, you know, true. What's the word I'm looking for? Misgressions. What's the word? Something like that. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. There was no true, you know, betrayal on why they couldn't make this up. So of course this leads them to the conversation of Tammy. Apparently Tammy was really close to the family, so close that Tammy and Simone had traveled to London together without Cecil. They're very close. He said even Simone's mom and sister and stuff was cool with Tammy. It just came to a point where Simone felt like he was spending too much time with Tammy, not on a romantic level, but just in general. He said at one point Tammy had a flat tire and he hopped up to go help Tammy. But at that same token, there was a snowstorm in Atlanta and Simone was stuck at the hospital and asked Cecil to come get her. And he was like, do you really need me to come get you right now? So it's feeling like, dang, you finna do all this stuff for your homegirl, but you can't do what your wife asks. I can definitely see that being a problem. When they laid it out like that, I was like, yeah, I get it. But to be honest, I already understood it because when Simone said Tammy stayed in their house over Christmas vacation for 10 days, she was like, why does your friend need to stay in our house for 10 days when they reside in Atlanta? Like I said, I feel like Simone was probably beating on Cecil, and he had Tammy there to make sure that Simone didn't get too crazy. But still, that's excessive. Like, that's a long time to have somebody up in your house that live down the street, live 20, 30 minutes away. So, um, Carlos King asked, did him and Tammy ever cross the line? He said no, it's never been like that. He then asked, is she attractive? Y'all hear my baby? She's been doing a lot. He says, is she attractive? Cecil says, yes, she's an attractive woman, you know. Well, a lot of people say that, you know, I couldn't be attracted to Tammy, but she's such a nice, such a sweet, genuine person that makes her attractive. Y'all, when the reunion happened, I went digging for pictures of Tammy and I found them. I ain't gonna say the woman ugly because I just don't feel like, you know, it takes a lot to be ugly in my book. But Tammy is definitely giving like big mama tease. You know what I mean? Like not that she's big, but you know, like the old usher board church lady. That's the vibes that Tammy give off. Like she might have a little synthetic wig. She might have on like some little kids. You know, not anything that Cecil will be cheating on Simone for. And like I said, that's no shade. It's just her personality. Not her personality. Her looks, rather. And like I said, he said that himself, basically. People said I wouldn't be attracted to her. So, at some point they mentioned, you know, everybody don't show their authentic life. Everybody is not open on the show. I feel like they were clearly talking about Heavenly and Dr. Damon, but Carlos King felt like they was talking about Jackie and Curtis, and he leads into the whole DR situation with Curtis working in the DR and never really being there this season. They said no, he's really out there working. He's out there working because Carlos King was like allegedly. No, he really out there working. He works for a development group, and we've seen the pamphlets of everything. I mean, but he hasn't anybody that's out there, but he out there working. We know he out there working. That cracked me up. So next they asked Eugene, was he mad when Quad called him sassy? He was like, no, I can laugh that off. She said worse things that I can't really get with. But that, I wasn't too bothered by that. And Carlos King was like, well, what are the worst things? He said, and I agree with everything Eugene said. Eugene mentioned how Quad said that Toya was cheating on him with somebody in the neighborhood. He brings up how Quad said they were drunk driving and got a ticket because they rear-ended somebody or something. I can't remember if the rear-ended part happened, but it was something like they were drunk driving and got a ticket. And he brings up how Quad said that they set up the robbery on Anila. All facts. Like those are the unforgivable moments. Her saying I'm sassy and she gonna buy me a dress. I laughed that off. Make sure it's a nice dress. Make sure it's expensive. But this stuff right here, that made me not want to deal with her. And then lastly, y'all, I'm coming in right at 10 minutes, like I said. Lastly, the thing that was important about this live is Carlos King brings up how people are saying that Toya is. He really just gonna let her do this. Get the baby! My child missed me, y'all. I just got one last thing on this thing, and I might not be able to do Potomac because she need her mama. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do Potomac tomorrow. So yeah, my baby missed me. I had a busy day. I went to the gym after work, and then I had to go pick up dinner. So I'm usually home when he picks her up from daycare, but it probably took me an extra hour to get everything done today. And clearly she missed her mama. So let me finish this up. I'm gonna have to do Potomac tomorrow because she ain't having that. So Carlos King brings up the fact that everybody is saying that Toya is spending all of Eugene's money. Eugene sets the record straight, and I've been said this, y'all. He said Toya makes more money than me, like, and has for the past few years. And honestly, I've been figured that because they be making like at least half a meal, maybe close to a meal per season. And they only film what, 3-4 months? So Eugene ain't making that in the hospital. He probably making a good little 300K. Someone know he was a director at one point. He probably making a good like 300K or something like that. But at this point, Toya is probably making $800,000 per season, and that equals out to more money than his. And like I said, I've been figured this from when they had that pandemic season and they was sitting down at the table and they was talking about different things, finances and all that. So I've been figured that much. And he was like, yeah, she been making more than me than for a few years now. Like, so that's why I get so annoyed with people on Twitter saying Toya need to get a job. Toya need to get a job. He said, I can't yell at everybody. You're watching her job. which is so real. Like I said, I've been figured that. I've been figured that. It's just Eugene is a workaholic. He loves what he does. So he's never gonna quit medicine. He's never really gonna pull in the reins because he's very passionate about what he does, and he feels like he loves the ER and he wants to save lives. So who can fault that man for being passionate and not wanting to be, just at home living off his wife? And Carlos said, no, Eugene was like, because he was like, are you a kept man? He said, yes, I am a kept man. He was like, Toya, she pays for the kids' school, she pays for the vacations, she pays for, these different things. Like, Toya makes more money than me. I'm tired of people saying, she's spending all my money and sitting up and doing nothing but playing tennis. She does have a soft life, and that's fine. And she still makes more money than me in that soft life. And I was like, set the record straight, Eugene. Set the record straight, because I've been figured that much, because it just makes sense. Like, even though they're the doctor's wives, they're not the doctors. Reality TV pays. It might come at a cost of people being all in your relationship and all in your marriage, but reality TV costs. We watching this, we reviewing this. Lots of people are reviewing this. They in season 10 at this point. Like, they making money. So yeah, if y'all haven't watched the Carlos King interview with Cecil and Eugene, go watch it. It was very entertaining. And that is it for this review, y'all. I gotta go eat me a little dinner before bedtime because this is late for me. So let me get to my baby, because y'all heard that. She want her mama. I be so touched when she want me, because she be trying to diss me half the time. But when I'm not accessible to her, then she want to do all of that. So bye, y'all. It's family time now. I will see y'all tomorrow for Potomac. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Comment on the video. Let me know what y'all think. Are y'all team quad or y'all team everybody else? I guess I'm somewhere in the middle. But okay, this review has gone on long enough. So I will talk to y'all